Hello everyone, welcome to this Excel training video. In this video we're going to be learning about the if function and we're going to be learning about nested ifs. If you haven't seen the previous video on the if function, just quickly, it is really just testing whether or not something is true or false and then giving us information that we've asked for based on whether it's tested to be true or tested to be false. It goes from left to right. And let's go through an example so that you can kind of understand how it works and how the nested if works. So, quick background. Within this example, we are trying to find out our budget for buying hamburger for the year. We're a restaurant company. Hypothetically, we're a restaurant company. Our vendor has given us the discount based on how much product we buy, and so we have to find out what we'll have to pay at the end of the year depending on how much we purchase. So let's go ahead and start. So if our logical test, so if the amount that we buy, if this amount is less than or equal to, and we want to know the quantity, if it's less than or equal to 2 tons, now I've already gone ahead and named each cell, and if I click on it, Excel is going to go ahead and put it for type this absolute value for this cell name for me, which is very, very nice. If you haven't named your cells, what you want to do is you just click on it and you click in the name box and you can type whatever name you want. But I've already done that, so if you see it being named something, that's because I've already named. I've named these all quantity, 2, 5, and 10, and these price. Price for 2 tons, price for 5 tons, but more than 2 tons, price for less than 10 tons but more than 5 tons, and price for more than 5 tons. So let's go ahead and get started with the example. If, logical test, if the amount we buy, 1, is less than or equal to our quantity for 2 tons or less than 2 tons, then what it's going to be is we're going to be multiplying the amount of hamburger we buy by the price per pound, and that's going to be our price. But as we know, there are 2,000 pounds within a ton, so at the end of this function, I'm going to have to multiply my answer by 2,000 in order to get the actual cost. But for now, I'm just going to start with multiplying the amount of hamburger we buy with the price. And we'll do the 2,000 later. So just so you don't get confused, I'm just letting you know about that. So our first part, this is our logical test. If something is greater than or equal to something else, then that's all we find out. So if it's true, we're going to multiply by this price. But if it's false, and you see we have a lot of different options, we actually have to continue with our if function. So that's the nested if. So if it's false, we continue on. It's going from left to right, so if that's not the case, we're going to do something else. We're going to continue our if function. If that's not the case, we're going to do that, the 1 ton less than or equal to the 5, our quantity 5 tons. So if it's less than or equal to 5 tons, well then we have to multiply the amount we purchase by our new purchase price, and again I've named that price for 5 tons or less, comma, but if that's false, we have to do another if function. So if that's false, we have to say if this number less than or equal to 10 tons, then if that's true, we have to multiply it by our $3.60 price. So it's going to be this multiplied by 360, comma. So if it's 10 or less, it's $3.60, unless it's 5 and 2 tons. So we've already finished that. So there's just one more, and because there's only one more, we can now finish our if function without having to do another nested if. So if it's not the case, then we're now at our value if it's false, and that's going to be the amount that we buy multiplied by the price if it's above 10 tons. And then we're going to have to close all these if functions, so we're going to have to put parentheses to close it. And so we need to know how many. So we're going to count our ifs. There's one if, there's two ifs, and there's three ifs. So we're going to have to use 3 closing parentheses. And if you remember, at the beginning, we know that price per pound is what we have the prices in. We have to convert it to tons. So we actually have to multiply our answer by 2,000, because that's how many pounds are in a ton. And so we find out that our answer, if we only buy 1 ton of hamburger, it's going to be 7,700 that we spend. And so we can, because we've named, you can see because I've named each of these cells, I can simply drag this down and I'll get our actual price for the year. But I always want to double check, so let's go for this one, let's say 2, so equals, and it's going to be 2 tons times 2,000, and I'll just put that in parentheses, and multiplied by our price. So if it's 2 tons or less, it's going to be 385, and it should be 15,400, and it is. So we know that just doing a random test shows that this is actually, this function, the if function, has worked correctly. So if you like this video, go ahead and please click the like button. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And we'll be doing more if function videos and examples so that you can really get to know this very powerful function in Excel. Thank you very much.